Hello. Welcome back to My Unpopular Opinion. Thank you for clicking the video. If you love my commentary, make sure you subscribe to the channel, please and thank you, and turn your post notifications on so you can be notified anytime I post, because those that follow me and subscribe, they know that I post anytime randomly, and so you want to get that notification. So, I want to talk about a few things today, and I really want to talk about Phaedra and Kandi first, aka Miss Candyman. So, Kandi did an interview with, I forgot, I don't know who the guy was, but it was on her YouTube channel. And okay, let's talk about Kandi's YouTube channel first, y'all. Before we even talk about Kandi and Phaedra, and we're talking about Kandi and Phaedra because Kandi brought it up. So, for those that are gonna get in the comments talking about you just hating on Kandi, I'm not. She brought it up, and I'm gonna give my opinion. But I want to talk about the fact that Kandi has her own YouTube channel, and I've learned that Kandi is extremely controlling. I mean, she's admitted that herself. Her husband has admitted it. Her mother has admitted. Everybody has talked about how controlling Kandi is and competitive she is. I think that because Kandi can't control necessarily everything on Housewives, she created her YouTube channel to kind of like control her narrative and control the narrative, period. So whenever, if you guys notice, whenever Kandi has something on the show that, she doesn't like the way the producers depicted it, or she feels like she was exposed in a way, because we know Kandi never wants to be wrong. When she's exposed in a way, she has to go hurry up and rush to her speak on it so that she can control the narrative and make people believe what she is saying. I also heard from a few people allegedly that Kandi was paying bloggers and blogs to post positive stuff about her too, allegedly. That's what I always heard. And there is a YouTuber who got an interview with her early on, and she gave him the interview so that he can be in her back pocket, is what I heard. But anywho, so on Kandi's show, Kandi Coded, whatever, I think, because she has two on YouTube. She talked about Phaedra and what people think about her and Phaedra, and why, she doesn't want Phaedra to return, and why she doesn't feel like she owes Phaedra a conversation. Now, that conversation came from Carlos King and Nene Leakes saying that they felt like Kandi owed, well, that the viewers were owed a conversation between Kandi and Phaedra. And I agree. So Kandi's addressing that, saying, I don't owe her an MFing thing. I don't have to tell her anything. She was trying to do stuff behind the scenes. And y'all know I've spoken on this before, and I know a lot of people are Team Kandi. I'm not surprised. As we know, this is my unpopular opinion. But a lot of y'all are Team Kandi because, like, Kandi has been able to play the victim. I say that all the time. And then she gets to go on her YouTube show and other things and control the narrative all the time. And she does things to sway people to her side. And I'm bringing awareness to this because I feel like it's time for her to be held accountable just like everybody else. So she's saying she don't think that, Phaedra should get the opportunity to have a sit down with her, that she would never speak to her again, but that she was okay with speaking to Porsha because Porsha exposed it and apologized, even though Portia's the one who actually said it on camera, okay, and was saying it very confidently and used it as a missile against you. You'll forgive her, and I have my theory on that too, y'all, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. But that Phaedra, was calling people trying to stop her restaurant and this, that, and the third. And I'm not saying that's right, okay? Because y'all know I actually am unbiased. I do not dislike Kandi. I do love Phaedra more, but I'm very unbiased when it pertains to real situations. I can have an objective view, right? So I feel like some of the things that Phaedra may have done was not right. I don't condone some of the things that she did at all. But I do think back to when Nene was talking about her conversation with, well, not a conversation, her argument read match in Puerto Rico with Claudia. And when she said something about Claudia being a half breed or whatever, and they were like, trying to hold Nene accountable for it. And she said, well, when you're in the midst of a battle, anything can come out, right? And I totally agree with that. When you're in the midst of a battle, whether physical or verbal, you don't know where the battle's going to go, how far it's going to go. And people forget that Kandi actually initiated the battle with Phaedra. Phaedra is a Scorpio, and one of my sisters is a Scorpio, so I know how Scorpios do. They will get you back, and they gonna get you back real good, okay? And Kandi started it, and Phaedra just so happened to finish it. That's one thing about Scorpios. They know how to intensify everything and take it to the next level. And Kandi should know all about Scorpios because Mama Joyce crazy tail self is a Scorpio. Okay? And we'll take it to the next level. But Kandi is playing the victim in this situation. I'm sorry. She's talking about the fact that Phaedra went too far and did this, that, and the third, but you didn't say anything that you did. Kandi's not talking about the fact that she literally went on television and said that Phaedra was sleeping around with other guys before she was divorced. Now, for some people, that may not be a big deal. Phaedra is a Christian, and Phaedra's parents are pastors. Just like Drew's parents are pastors, and people act like they don't understand why Drew doesn't want to say that she kissed a woman on television. Because some people actually really, really respect their families, their parents, and different things like that. And it could be devastating for your family to see that you are, kissing a woman on TV. And it can be devastating sometimes for your family who are very religious to see that, oh, you stepped outside of your marriage before you were legally divorced. That's, very serious in a lot of religions and faiths. And so that was a big blow to to Phaedra, excuse me, from Kandi, about her marriage, because you're my friend. And even if that is the case, Apollo had been cheating and doing all kind of stuff to Phaedra, but you my girl and you know my tea, and you mad at me. So you going to say on TV that I slept with people before I was divorced. That was where she went wrong with Phaedra, number one. And Kandi would act like she didn't do nothing. Number two is when me and my good friend Phaedra and Kandi were best friends. Why are you holding when this man is doing me wrong? Why, when I divorce him, why are you on his side, and why are you holding all of his stuff that the federal government was trying to seize and was going to seize? Why are you hiding it in your house, and I'm your best friend and I don't even know about it? And you doing this behind my back with my soon-to-be ex-husband. Y'all don't think that's shady? That is extremely shady. Then when the federal government when the feds came to Kandi's house for the things from Apollo, Kandi and Todd were vilifying Phaedra and trying to say that Phaedra sent them to her house. How, when Phaedra didn't even know that you had the stuff at your house? So that was another thing that she did. So already you perpetuating a lie saying that saying that Phaedra slept around before she was divorced. You're holding Apollo's items that were seized by the federal government in your house, and I don't even know about it, okay? And then now you're making it seem like I sent them to your house. Then also, don't forget, Kandi has on the show said that Phaedra didn't pay Todd, and just so many things that Kandi has done. And then the real blow was Kandi tried to act like she didn't want Mama Joyce attacking Phaedra, but she uses Mama Joyce as her tool. So that one season when Phaedra was going through all the stuff, and Mama Joyce intentionally brought Phaedra, to the forefront and was like, yeah, I heard somebody was trying to come to your establishment and blow up the place and left a bomb and a bomb threat and, making light of it and laughing. And they were just doing all of this. And Kandi tried to act like she didn't know that Mama Joyce was going to do that. You knew Mama Joyce was going to do that. Just same way you be letting your little employees, homemade thugs that you call employees, attack the people on the show too. You know what you're doing. Kandi uses these people around her. So I don't know what y'all would allow, but if somebody was my good friend and they did all these things to me, I'm going to either try to let it go or I'm going to get you back too. And Phaedra just so happened to want to get Kandi back. Now, did what she allegedly do to Kandi, was that okay? No, it wasn't okay. It's never okay when people are warring with each other and they do things that are below the belt. But one thing I can say is Phaedra never once said on the show the rumor. The only thing she said when she was upset about Shamia and Kandi talking about her was she said, oh, Shamia is effing Kandi and Todd. That's what she said, and she said that on there. Other than that, Phaedra had never said the alleged rumor on the show. She never said it. Porsha's the one who said it. So, it's like, yeah, you say, oh, Phaedra put that out there to Porsha. That may be the case. But did Phaedra say it on camera for everybody to hear it about Kandi? No, she didn't. Porsha did. Yet Porsha gets forgiven. Now, I will say that I think, I'm just going to go and throw this out here. I think that Kandi forgave Porsha because honestly, I feel like Kandi has some real feelings for Porsha. This is my opinion, y'all. That's why I think she was so hurt when Porsha was, coming at her that season because I think that Kandi has real feelings for Porsha, and I think like romantic feelings, allegedly. This is just my opinion, y'all. You don't have to agree. But honestly, we know that Kandi is a part-time lesbian, and we know that she enjoys women, and I respect her being open about that and everything like that. But when that night, allegedly, when Porsha said she was going bleep, bleep, bleep until Kandi bleep, bleep, bleeped, I think they must have actually allegedly really did that before or something, and Porsha must have threw it down. And we know Porsha is bad to the bone, so Porsha must have threw it down on Miss Candyman, to the point where Kandi just couldn't let it go. And I'm not surprised. Porsha is a beautiful woman, so I think that Kandi honestly has a soft spot for Porsha, and I think that she actually really likes Porsha a little bit more than what she leads off as. So I feel like that's why it was easier for her to forgive Porsha and then just blame it all on Phaedra. But in all honesty, I think that Kandi is a little bit afraid to have a conversation with Phaedra. And I think she's afraid because Phaedra is a formidable opponent. I mean, Phaedra can read you for freaking filth without even saying one curse word. And I think that Kandi is afraid because she knows that Phaedra can really go below the belt when she's in a battle, and you guys can't vilify her for that. Everybody does that. Kenya goes way below the belt in battles, and y'all always praise her for her reading and this and that, and she said some really disgusting things before, like when she was talking about Nene's children and the way that they look, and they had nothing to do with her and Nene's issues, and she did that on television, berating someone else's children. So y'all love for some people to be shady, but then other people like Phaedra, she can't be shady. Well, don't come for her and then get mad when she comes back for you. You can't be mad that she landed the final blow. I think that Carlos King, I don't agree with everything he says all the time because I do think he is very fake and wishy-washy. I mean, but that's a producer's job. But I do feel like what he said about Phaedra and Kandi never getting to finish out their relationship on camera ruined the show. And in honesty, it did, because Real Housewives of Atlanta used to be good and funny because it was like more authentic. It was like, what, for the most part, it was like them being themselves, like their own personalities and stuff like that. What was really happening in their friendships was really happening. And I felt like it would have made the show would have still been good if they would have stayed on the actual storyline. The actual storyline was that happened that season with Phaedra, Kandi, and Porsha, and all that stuff happened. And the following season, we should have gotten to see what happened after that. How Kandi had to pick up her pieces. How Kandi is going to be able to maneuver in the group around Phaedra. Will Kandi and Phaedra ever discuss what happened, and will Phaedra? Because when in reality, Phaedra never really got to ever really tell her side, truthfully. Will Phaedra ever be able to tell her side? Like, we didn't get to see any of that. We didn't get to see Phaedra and Porsha and how their relationship changed. And so he's right, because they didn't follow the actual story, and they veered off path. It did ruin the show because it stopped being authentic, because we didn't get to see what happened in that relationship. And that was due to Kandi calling the executives at Bravo and threatening them with her quitting if Phaedra returned. She was saying that she would quit, obviously, which is giving them an ultimatum, and that is ridiculous that Kandi would even be able to do that with the network. But that's her preferential treatment. So that's my opinion. I feel like Kandi continues to talk about this and plead her case about why she would never film with Phaedra. Girl, in my opinion, you just scared, and you are controlling and manipulative, and you want to control the narrative, and you didn't want Phaedra to be able to ever speak. So, that's my opinion. Y'all let me know down in the comments what you think about this topic. And don't be afraid to say if whether you agree or disagree. I'm not surprised if a lot of people don't, because I've seen comments about it, but let me know. Bye.